Hi everyone, welcome back to the Storytime family. How are you today? How was school? Did you have fun playing with your friends? I hope you got to play outside in the sun. And I hope you've learned lots of new things and you're ready to read a book with us. Today we have a book called Lucky Duck by Greg Pizzoli. Let's get started, shall we? Lucky Duck. Susan the duck was feeling a little bit unlucky. Darn. The roller skates she ordered online were 2 sizes too big. I have the worst luck, said Susan as she pulled on another pair of socks. Just then, the doorbell rang. Congratulations, it's your lucky day, said the wolf at the door. You've won. I did? I won? Asked Susan. What did I win? You've won this fabulous pot, said the wolf. Perfect for making soup. Congratulations again. You are one lucky duck. Susan did feel lucky. It was a very nice pot. A little big for a kitchen, but still very nice. Thank you, she said to the wolf. The rest of the morning, she felt very lucky. But just before lunch, her luck turned. Her kitchen light bulb burned out. Of all the bad luck, said Susan as she got out a new bulb and her ladder. Then the doorbell rang. Congratulations, it's your lucky day, said the wolf. You've won. What? Said Susan. I already won. I already have a pot. Of course, said the wolf. And now you have won these wonderful onions. Great for soup. What a lucky duck you are. Oh, said Susan. She liked onions, and she loved soup. And this was a lot of onions to eat by herself. But still, she felt lucky. Thank you again, Mr. Wolf, Susan called as she carried the onions to her cupboard. A little while later, she was making a sandwich when she saw that her pickle jar was empty. No pickles? Cried Susan. What bad luck! But she felt better after the wolf showed up with a big bunch of celery. By the afternoon, Susan was feeling unlucky. She had lost her favorite marble. But then the wolf brought her carrots, and she felt lucky again. Maybe I will make that soup, thought Susan. That evening, Susan invited some friends to share her soup. While she was talking on her phone, she discovered a nest of hornets in the tree behind her house. Just my rotten luck. She was in the kitchen looking for her bug spray when she heard a knock at the door. It's open. Come in, yelled Susan. Hello, Doug, said the wolf. Are you making the soup? Yes, said Susan. Thanks to you, I've added the onions, the celery, and the carrots to the big pot. I invited some friends for dinner, and you should join us. I think it will be a very nice soup. Yes, I'm sure it will, said the wolf. So what's the big prize this time? Asked Susan. Duck soup, said the wolf. Susan gulped. Duck soup? That's right, said the wolf. Today is my lucky day. The wolf snarled. He grinned at Susan with his jagged teeth. Duck soup is my favorite dish. Oh no, yelped Susan. My luck has run out. And then the wolf slipped on Susan's marble, and he fell headfirst into the empty pickle jar. Then he banged onto the ladder, lost his balance, and jammed his foot into one of Susan's 2 sizes too big roller skates. Susan gasped as the wolf flew out the back door, slammed into the tree, and smacked right into the hornet's nest. Bonk! And then that rotten wolf rolled down the hill, never to be seen again. Just then, the doorbell rang. Susan's friends had arrived for dinner. "Welcome," said Susan. "The soup is almost ready." Susan looked around the table and smiled. She felt very, very lucky. The end. And that was Lucky Duck. What do you think? Do you think she was lucky? I think so. How about you? Are you lucky? Well, of course you are. There's so many things to be grateful for today. Thank you so much for joining us today. If you'd like to own a copy of this book, the link to purchase it is in our description below. And if you haven't, do subscribe and give us a like if you enjoyed the story, and click on the bell for more notifications. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you back here again soon. Bye-bye.
I Am Stronger Than Anxiety by Elizabeth Cole. Let's get started, shall we? I am stronger than anxiety. It was a sunny weekend, time for some fun. Nick's dad planned a camping trip with his son. Nick was excited to spend the day with Dad, but then he thought of all the worries he had. How will I sleep without my favorite toys? How will I sleep if the thunder makes noise? What if I see monsters hiding in the trees? What if I get stung by a hard-working bee? Nick's hands started to sweat, and his mouth felt dry. He was so upset that he could start to cry. His whole world felt like it was turned inside out. He was feeling anxious. There was no doubt. During the drive to the mountains, Nick didn't talk. Dad set up the tent while Nick went for a walk. Still worried, Nick wandered and looked all around. He saw a raccoon writing a note on the ground. "Hey there, what are you writing?" little Nick asked. The raccoon replied, but kept scribbling fast. "I moved to a new den where the forest ends. I was afraid I wouldn't make any new friends. So I write down all my worries here on a note, then throw away everything that I wrote." Nick took some paper and wrote his worries too. He scribbled them fast until he was through. Nick and the raccoon tossed their notes away. "I feel so much better now, I have to say." Nick thanked the raccoon and continued his walk. Then he heard someone singing behind a big rock. It was a moose with funny antlers on his head. "Hello, that's a beautiful song," little Nick said. The moose said, I am nervous before my football game. When I have to go to the dentist, I feel the same. So, whenever I'm nervous, I sing this song. It helps me feel better. It helps me feel strong. The moose taught Nick the words and he sang along. They walked through the woods singing this song. Worries, oh worries, I will beat you all. Whether you are big or many that are small, I am fearless and I am brave too. Anxiety, I am stronger than you. Nick left the moose and saw someone new for a chat. It was a brown bear stretching out on a mat. The bear looked funny, wearing a toga. Come and join me. I'm doing yoga. I'm trying to relax before the school play. I'm scared and don't want my anxiety to stay. Little Nick stood up tall next to the bear. He took a deep breath of fresh forest air. Together, they stretched their legs and their backs. They reached their arms to the sky, then stretched their necks. After all the techniques little Nick had used, he no longer felt nervous, scared, and confused. Nick told his dad about his unusual day and how all his anxiety had flown away. His dad smiled slightly and then gently said, "It's normal to have worries bothering your head. Stress and anxiety a lot of trouble can bring. Knowing how to deal with them is the most important thing." Nick was glad to share his thoughts with his dad and to tell him about all the worries he's had. The rest of his trip was relaxing and fun. "I'm stronger than anxiety," Nick said, "and I won." And that was I Am Stronger Than Anxiety. Are you stronger than anxiety? I'm sure you've worried about a lot of small things and a lot of big things too. And that's okay. Just let it come through and then let it pass and you'll be just fine. Hope you enjoyed the book and show the author some love. If you'd like to own a copy, the links to purchase it are in the description below. If you haven't subscribed, do subscribe and give us a like. We'll see you back here soon. You take care. Bye-bye.